For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. The NBA season is only 10 or 12 games old, depending on your team and how many games they've played, so there's about 85% of the season left to be played. So what I'm about to tell you might come off as a little bit of an overreaction, kind of like when those people say after one or two games and a guy hits 2 home runs, oh, well, he's on pace to hit 300 home runs, when nobody's ever going to do that. But what I'm seeing from the first part of the season gives me pause and makes me think that something historic is possible. 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, though his team is struggling, is putting up numbers this year that might have him in elite company by himself because he is attempting to do something that has never been done in the history of the league. Every sport has some version of a triple crown that players aspire to, but the NBA does not. To put it in perspective, the baseball triple crown is leading the league in home runs, RBI, and batting average. And that's been done several dozen times in the history of Major League Baseball, but the last time it was done was 2012. But leading the league in home runs, RBI, and batting average is all offensive stats. And that's fine, that's great, but it's all offensive, it's only one side of the game. Now, the National Hockey League does have a triple crown, and it involves leading the league in goals, assists, and points scored, which seems kind of redundant because if you lead the league in goals and assists, you're obviously going to lead the league in points scored. But the ironic thing about the NHL Triple Crown is the fact that it's only been done 11 times. And even more ironic is the fact that it's only been done by 5 guys in those 11 times, because Wayne Gretzky did it 5 times. So leading the league in goals, assists, and points is impressive in and of itself, because if you're leading the league in goals scored, then that means you're an offensive player. But if you're leading the league in assists, that means you're setting up other players for success as well. You're facilitating for your teammates, which means you're playing more of the game than just scoring goals. The weird thing about hockey is the fact that 2 passes lead to an assist. So that means that Gretz can pass to somebody, and then that somebody can pass back to Gretz, and then Gretz can score a goal and get an assist on his own goal. But still in all, he scored a goal or he made an assist more times than anybody else in hockey in that season. So he's a more well-rounded player than, say, a baseball player who just leads the league in batting average, homers, and RBI. But in the NBA, the unique triple crown would be leading the league in scoring, assists, and rebounding. And that's never been done in the history of the league. In fact, in the history of the NBA, no player has ever led the league in both rebounding and assists. The closest anyone has ever come was Wilt Chamberlain, who led the league in rebounding 11 times and led the league in total assists once, but he was second in assists per game to Oscar Robertson that year. But Nikola Jokic, right now, after 10 or 12 games, sits 4th in the league in scoring, but he's leading the league in rebounds per game and assists per game, which means if he can pick up his scoring average, or if the guys ahead of him like Anthony Davis and some of the others get injured and fall off or don't play enough games and don't qualify, Nikola Jokic has the chance to be the first player in the over 75-year history of the National Basketball Association to lead the NBA in points per game, rebounds per game, and assists per game in the same season. Even the guys that average triple-doubles like Oscar Robertson or James Harden or Russell Westbrook, they didn't lead the league in all 3 categories. They just averaged double figures in all 3 categories. So what Nikola Jokic is doing is truly historic. He has the chance to lead the league in all 3 categories. And what makes this special is the fact that if you're leading the league in scoring, you're an offensive threat. If you're leading the league in assists, you're facilitating for your teammates. And unlike hockey, you cannot get an assist on your own basket. So he's creating points for his teammates. And if you're leading the league in rebounding, You're securing the ball for your team so that your team has a chance to score again. Yes, you can rebound and score, but if you're getting defensive rebounds, then that means you're keeping the other team from scoring, and then you're getting the ball so that your team has a chance to score, even if it means you score yourself. But people who lead the league in rebounding are often in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. So you're talking about a guy who has the chance to lead the league in scoring, lead the league in facilitating for his teammates, and lead the league in securing the ball for his teammates, which will put him in line for the Most Valuable Player award and for the Defensive Player of the Year award, which means he could sweep all of the awards and all of the statistical categories in the NBA. And he's also one of the tops in blocks and steals. But that's another story for another day. So if Nikola Jokic is able to pull off the rare NBA Triple Crown, a couple of things will happen. He will be seen as one of the greatest players in the history of the league because he will have done something that Wilt and Oscar and Russell and Kareem and a lot of these guys have never been able to do. And if he accomplishes this, he will almost certainly win his 4th MVP award. And if you look at the list of guys who have won at least 4 MVP awards, you are looking at the true, honest Mount Rushmore of the NBA. The guys who have won at least 4 MVPs are Kareem, Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and LeBron James. Period. That's the whole list. And Nikola Jokic has a chance, if he continues his start, if he continues playing the way he's playing through the first 10 games of the season, to join the true, honest Mount Rushmore list of the greatest basketball players ever. Kareem, Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and LeBron James. And the name Nikola Jokic will be on that list. And he will have to be considered one of the greatest basketball players who has ever lived. He has to already be considered as one of the greatest basketball players in the league right now. And to be leading the league in rebounding and assists and 4th in the league in scoring in the early part of the season, he's already one of the greatest basketball players this season. So I am looking forward to the rest of the season. I am looking forward to seeing Nikola Jokic continue to play the way he's playing, and I hope he can achieve this because I like seeing things like this. I hope he can achieve it because it'll be historic, it'll be a great story, it'll be something people will be talking about for years and years and years. And even though with his other MVPs he didn't win championships until he finally did, there will be no denying his place among the pantheon of the greats of the NBA. Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel, and visit the Eric J. on Sports website, and follow me on Facebook at Eric J. on Sports 1, and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J. on Sports. And for Eric J. on Sports, I'm Eric J., and this is what I think.